Tom paints the fence. It's a Saturday morning in summer, and the world is bright and fresh and brimming with life. There is a song in every heart, cheer in every face, and a spring in every step. Tom Sawyer, however, is deeply unhappy. He has skipped school and been in a fight recently. As a punishment, his aunt has asked him to whitewash the fence of the house. Tom appears on the sidewalk with a bucket of whitewash and a long-handled brush. He surveys the fence and sighs to himself. He dips his brush and passes it along the topmost plank. Jim comes skipping out of the house with a tin pail to fetch water at the pump. He is singing,
"Say, Jim, I'll fetch the water if you'll whitewash a bit." "Can't, Master Tom. The old missus told me to get this water and not to stop to fool around with anybody. She knew you were going to ask me to whitewash, so she told me to go along and tend to my own business. She said she'd tend to the whitewashing." "Oh, never mind what she said, Jim. That's only her way of talking. Give me the bucket. I will be gone only a minute. She won't ever know." "Oh, I daren't, Master Tom. Old missus would tear the head off of me. Jim, I'll give you a marble. I'll give you a white alley." "My, that's a mighty gay marble, I tell you, but I'm afraid old missus. And besides, if you will, I'll show you my sore toe."
Jim is only human. This attraction is too much for him. He puts down his pail, takes the white alley, and bends over the toe with absorbing interest while the bandage is being unwound. Aunt Polly suddenly emerges from the house behind them and whacks Jim with her slipper. In a flash, Jim is flying down the street, and Tom is whitewashing with vigor. Aunt Polly looks sternly at Tom, then goes back to the house with the slipper in her hand and triumph in her eye.
Bits of toys, marbles, and trash. Enough to buy an exchange of work. Maybe, but not to buy half an hour of pure freedom. I can't buy the boys with this. Why, what an idea!
Tom takes up his brush and goes tranquilly to work. Ben Rogers comes into sight, hopping, skipping, and jumping. This is Very Boy, of all boys, whose ridicule Tom has been dreading. Ben is eating an apple and impersonating a steamboat. Tim goes on whitewashing without paying any attention to the human steamboat. Ben stops and stares at him.
"Hello there. You're in trouble, aren't you?"
There is no answer. Tom surveys his last touch with the eye of an artist. Then he gives his brush another gentle sweep and checks the result. As before, Ben comes over to him. Tom's mouth is watering for the apple, but he sticks to his work with a look of utmost concentration.
"Hello, you've got to work, hey?" "Why, it's you, Ben. I wasn't noticing. I'm going swimming. Don't you wish you could? But of course, you'd rather work, wouldn't you? Course you would. What do you call work? Why, isn't that work? Well, maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. All I know is it suits Tom Sawyer. Oh, come on, you don't mean to say that you like it. Like it? Well, I don't see why I shouldn't like it. Does a boy get a chance to whitewash a fence every day?
This puts the thing in a new light of Ben. Tom has unknowingly discovered a great law of human action, that in order to make a man or a boy covet a thing, it is only necessary to make the thing difficult to attain. Ben stops nibbling his apple. Tom sweeps his brush daintily back and forth, steps back to note the effect, and adds a touch here and there. Ben is watching every move and getting more and more absorbed. Finally, he bursts out.
Say, Tom, let me whitewash a bit. No, no, that would hardly do, Ben. You see, Aunt Polly's awfully particular about this fence. If it were the back fence, we wouldn't mind. But this one is right here on the street. You know, there isn't one boy in 1,000 that can do it right. No, is that so? Oh, come now, let me just try. Only just a little. I'd let you if you were me, Tom. Ben, I'd like to, honestly. But Aunt Polly, well, Jim wanted to do it, but she wouldn't let him either. Now, don't you see how I'm fixed? If you were to tackle this fence and anything was to happen to it, oh, shucks, I'll be just as careful. Now, let me try. I'll give you the core of my apple. Well, maybe. No, Ben, I can't. I'm afraid. I'll give you all of it.
Tom gives up the brush, with reluctance in his face, but eagerness in his heart. And while Ben works and sweats in the sun, their tired artist sits on a barrel in the shade close by, dangles his legs, munches his apple, and plans the slaughter of more innocents. Boys come to jeer, but remain to whitewash. By the time Ben is tired out, Tom has traded the next chance to Billy Fisher for a kite. When he plays out, Johnny Miller brings in a dead rat and a string to swing it with, and so on. By the middle of the afternoon, from being a poor poverty-stricken boy in the morning, Tom is just rolling in wealth.
Why, the fence has 3 coats of whitewash on it. Oh, Tom, you can work so well when you want to. It's a shame you hardly ever want to. Too bad I ran out of whitewash, or I'd have cleaned out the pockets of every boy in the village.